tissues. If you find any doubt, please ask me. I'll clear that. Now give me a minute. Yes. Yes, so we have discussed epithelial tissue. We have not discussed it fully. We have discussed up to its functions. That is basically what is an epithelial tissue. What is it? So we have known that it is found on the surface of body, right? Like for example, if we take the case of plants, what happens? Plants also have a covering. What is that known as? What does this covering is known as? Epidermis, right? Many small many small cells, they form a line or they form a layer by attaching themselves to each other. They form a layer and cover the plant surface. So they act for protection, right? They are present there for the role of protection. Also, they have some waxy coatings known as cuticle. That's in case of plant, right? That's in case of plant. We are doing animal tissues. So in animals, similar to plants, like plants have epidermis. So similar to plants, animals have epithelial tissues. Epithelial tissues are present in animals. Now, same case goes with the epithelial tissues, that they are also meant for protection. Epithelial tissues are also meant for protection. So basically, if we have to give a clear idea of epithelial tissue, what we can say, they are present on the body surface. That means, for example, on the skin, or we can say also, we can give one more example of stomach's inner lining. We have a stomach. Inside that we have an inner lining. For what? Because inside stomach we have intestine, small intestine and large intestine, right? So for their protection, we have an inner lining of stomach too. So that inner lining consists of these epithelial cells. Also the skin, our skin, which is present on our body, the upper skin, this is made up of epithelial cells. So what is the basic function of epithelial cells? Can anybody tell the basic function? If no, then I'll tell you, it's protection. What does epithelial cells do, or what does epithelial tissue perform? Their function is protection. They give protection to the skin and wherever they are present, the inner lining of stomach, everything, right? Now, what are they? They are actually a continuous sheet of cells. They are packed with each other. They form a layer over the body or the surface, right? So they are actually continuous thin sheet of cells. They should be continuous because they are doing the function of protection. If they have gaps in between them, if they are not continuous, or if they are not formed as a layer, then what will happen? Some parts of our body, some surfaces will miss those tissues, epithelial tissues, which will provide us protection. So if some part will miss that portion, that epithelial tissue, what will happen? Those some parts will not get protection. So that's why it is a continuous sheet, so that it can surround or it can cover the whole surface of the skin, the stomach inner lining, etc. Right? Now their shape, talking about their shape, they are flat, cuboidal and columnar. That means they look like column, cube-like structures, and they are flat in nature. Right? Also, we have told the function, the main function is protection. Now, apart from this function, apart from protection, they also have two more functions. What are they? First is absorption and second is secretion. Absorption of what? Absorption of different types of minerals, the water, everything which is absorbed by our body, which is absorbed by our skin. In our stomach also, some proteins, minerals, etc. are absorbed by our stomach. So for that purpose also, epithelial cells.
Ma'am, on which page number it is?
It is on page number 13. Page number 13, 1-3. Right? Page number 13. So we are talking about epithelial tissue. We have said that these are continuous cells of, continuous sheet of cells and are present on the surface of skin. Or one more thing is there, we can say present on the inner lining of stomach, right? These two examples we can give. Also, their main function is protection, giving protection to the body or the surface of skin. Wherever they are present, they give protection. But apart from protection, they also have two other functions. They are absorption and secretion. Absorption means the absorption of different materials, minerals, etc. in the skin and the stomach, right? And secretion means they secrete some hormones, right? That means hormones are secreted where? In some glands present in our body. There are pancreatic
Ma'am,
glands. Hema?
Yes, ma'am. Which question? A, B, C.
No, we are not discussing questions. We are discussing the topic epithelial tissue on page number 13, right? We are not discussing the questions.
Sister, which ma'am? Which tissue?
Epithelial tissues.
Okay, sister.
Yeah, epithelial tissue on page number 13. We are discussing the tissue, epithelial tissue, which is an animal tissues. You can see the topic animal tissue. There are 4 types: epithelial, connective, muscular, and nervous tissue. So we are discussing epithelial tissue. We have already told about their main function, and the other function which they perform is absorption and secretion, right? This is in general about epithelial tissue. Now we have to know the types of epithelial tissue. Now there are many types also. There are basically how many types? 4 types of epithelial tissues are there. The first type is squamous epithelium. Second is cuboidal epithelium. Then columnar epithelium, and then stratified epithelium. These 4 types of epithelial tissues are, or we can say these comes under the epithelial tissues of animal cells, right? So let us discuss squamous epithelium. Let us read that. Cells are thin and flat. It forms the lining of cavities of different organs like the mouth and esophagus. Function is to protection. It protects the underlying parts of the body from injury and prevents entry of germs. Now, what does squamous epithelium do? Where it is found? It is found in the linings of mouth and esophagus. Esophagus means the food pipe, right? We have one food pipe in our throat. Then other than food pipe, we have one windpipe also. Windpipe is known as trachea, whereas food pipe is known as esophagus. Yes. So esophagus and mouth linings. So these are present, we can say these squamous epithelium cells are present where? You have to underline this, otherwise you will not remember. There are 4 types of epithelial cells. So you have to remember each and every one of tissues, or we can say the cells, epithelial cells, where are they present? You have to remember differently, like individually you have to remember everything. So in squamous epithelium, underline this location. Come to location and underline mouth and esophagus. That means it forms the inner lining of mouth and esophagus. That means they are present in mouth and esophagus, nothing else.
Ma'am, this is line. We line this.
Yes, you have to underline this mouth and esophagus. It is because so that you can remember this, that where are epithelial cells found. So that's why I am telling you, I am asking you to underline mouth and esophagus. When it is asked, where is the location of squamous epithelial cells? You have to write inner lining of mouth and esophagus.
Okay,
right?
ma'am.
Yes. Now the function, you have to underline the function too. That means protects the underlying parts of body from injury and prevents entry of germs. Underline this. This is the function of squamous epithelium cells. What it does, it protects the underlying parts. Underlying parts of the body means the parts which are inside the body. Since epithelial cells are meant for protection, they protect the underlying parts of the body, and also what they do, prevent the entry of germs. Like if we have a surface on our skin, if we have a covering on our skin, it will obviously prevent entry of germs. Like if we do not have this covering, what will happen? All the germs will enter in our body directly, right? We have so many pores in our skin, but because of the presence of these epithelial tissue, which does the function of performs the function of protection. That's why we do not, all the germs do not enter our body. Also, injuries are less because of these cells. Because these cells are present in our body, if we just fall down, then what happens? Just little bit of injuries there, not more injuries come. So that's why the protection act is done by these epithelial cells. That means they protect the inner lining, or we can say the underlying parts of the body from injury and prevents entry of germs. Please underline this function. Function of squamous epithelium. This is the function of squamous epithelium. Now the second one is columnar epithelium. We can have a look at the diagram too. You can see they are arranged as columns, right? Like these columns, they are arranged. So they are known as columnar epithelium. Now here the cells are long and column-like. You can see in the diagram itself, the cells are column-like and very long, elongated. Their location is inner lining of the stomach and small intestine. Now there is a difference. Squamous epithelium's location was, where was it found? In the linings of mouth and esophagus. That means the top portion, mouth and esophagus. Now the second one, columnar epithelium, is found in the inner lining of stomach and intestine. Right? We have said it is present in the inner lining of stomach. In general, when we talk about epithelial cells, we have talked about this, that they are present in the inner lining of stomach. So that's why here the columnar epithelium forms the inner lining of stomach and intestine. Please underline inner lining of stomach and intestine. This is the location of columnar epithelium. Then come to page number 14. We have the function of columnar epithelium. Now, what is the function? Its main functions are absorption of digested food in small intestine and secretion of mucus. So here, these columnar epithelial cells, or we can say columnar epithelium, their function is absorption of digested food. Now, how we can get this function? Obviously, because they are present in stomach. They are present in the inner lining of stomach and the intestine. So what happens there in the stomach and intestine? Obviously, the food is stored, they are digested, and they are passed out. So from that, we can make out this point that the function of columnar epithelium is absorption of the digested food. That means the food which is digested, they absorb it and then later they throw it out through anus, right? Also, it secrete mucus, right? Mucus is a substance. They also do the secretion, or they form or secrete or store mucus. We can say they store mucus, right? Is this much clear to you all?
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am. Yes.
Fine. Now the third one is cuboidal epithelium. Please pay attention because this is very confusing. You have 4 types in epithelial cells. Then you have connective tissue. You have another 2 to 3 types of connective tissues. So they must be confusing to you at first. But if you go through them once, twice, or thrice, maximum you can go thrice. If you go thrice, you will obviously understand all the points very well. Just underline these points. Every points you have to underline the main points. Where are they found and what is their function? This is very main. Then apart from that, you can write their structure, their size and shape and all. But the main function and the location, where are they found? This is very important in every case. Whatever we are studying, these 2 things, the location and the function, is very important. So please underline the function of columnar epithelium, absorption of digested food and secretion of mucus. Right? Now come to third one, cuboidal epithelium. We have discussed squamous, we have discussed columnar. Now the third one is cuboidal epithelium. Now, cuboidal means from the name itself, we get to know that they are cube-shaped. You can see cells are cube-like. In the diagram also you can see there are small cubes over the surface. Now, location. It is found in the inner lining of kidney tubules and glands like sweat gland. Now, where are they present? The cuboidal epithelium. They are found in the kidney tubules. That means our kidney has some tubules. Just a minute. Yes. So they are found where? In the inner lining of kidney tubules and sweat glands. We have some sweat glands in our body from where sweat is produced, right? The sweat is produced from sweat glands. So these sweat glands also contains cuboidal epithelium, right? So how can you write? Their location is inner lining of kidney tubule and sweat glands. You have to remember all these. And the function is excretion, absorption, and secretion. Now, first point, excretion is very clear. Why? Because kidney tubules are basically meant for excretion, right? When our urine is passed, when our urine is excreted, it is because of the function of kidney itself, right? So we can say first function is excretion. Second one is absorption. That means these tubules, the glands, all these glands, they absorb the minerals, the water, surrounding things. So they basically do the absorption also. And also secretion. That means secretion of different enzymes, we can say different hormones, etc. Like in here, kidney, there is a hormone present. What is that? Adrenaline or adrenaline. You must have heard this, or I don't know you have heard this or not, but there are some hormones present in kidney tubules. So they secrete these hormones, right? They secrete these hormones. Also, they help in excretion and absorption. So these are the three main functions of cuboidal epithelium. Underline these functions: excretion, absorption, secretion. Underline this much. Also, above that, in location, you have to underline inner lining of kidney tubules and sweat glands. Sweat glands. Underline this much. Now, the last one is ciliated epithelium. Ciliated epithelium. Now, ciliated means, from ciliated means they have some small tiny projections over their body known as cilia, right? There are some small tiny projections over their body known as cilia. It is written here, cells are tall and column-like, they have cilia. Now, cilia is nothing, but they are tiny projections. You can see on the surface, can you see hair-like structures? Those tiny projections outwards, they are known as cilia, right? So because of the presence of cilia over their surface, they are known as ciliated epithelium. Is that clear to you? Very easy, right? Everyone, can I get a yes? Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So because of the presence of these cilia, these tiny projections, they are known as ciliated epithelium. So if you want to remember this, now what is ciliated epithelium? From the name itself, ciliated, you can find out the definition that they contain cilia, where cilia is the finger-like projections or the hair-like structures present over the surface of the tissue, right? Now this is about the shape. They have cilia, that's why they are known as ciliated epithelium. Now the location, where is it found? It is found in the inner lining of the windpipe and bronchi. Inner lining of windpipe and bronchi. Windpipe is the trachea, right? Our throat has a trachea inside it and a food pipe also. So windpipe is the trachea from where we breathe in and out, right? For breathing purpose, windpipe is present. And bronchi. Bronchi is the lungs, right? The aerolar tissues, the bronchi, the vacuoles present inside our lungs. Also, bronchi also contain these ciliated epithelium. Now, why this windpipe and bronchi contain ciliated epithelium? You all know, we have studied that ciliated means cilia is present. Now, these cilia are small, tiny projections. Now, wherever if you see these tiny projections, they have a basic quality. What is that quality? The quality is nothing but these tiny projections increase the surface area of the tissue, right? For example, if we say we have mitochondria, right? So in mitochondria, you see these projections, they are known as cristae. Those finger-like projections, there are some projections inside mitochondria. So have you all heard about mitochondria? Are you all familiar with this term, mitochondria?
No, ma'am.
No? Okay, fine. Okay, then you will not understand because mitochondria is in bigger classes, I guess. You will get to know about mitochondria in 9th standard, right? My 9th standard, you will know mitochondria, what is it? So leave mitochondria, let us come back to this one. These finger-like projection, or we can say these tiny hair-like projections, they have a function. What they do, they have large capacity of surface area. Surface area means the area over that particular tissue. So like for example, we can take a cotton ball. If we take less cotton ball and if we put it over water, it will absorb less water. Why? Because it is in less quantity. Similarly, if we take large amount of cotton, like a big amount of cotton ball if we take, and then if we put that big cotton ball in water, it will absorb the large amount of water, right? That means it has more surface area. That's why it is absorbing more water. It has a large surface area. So these cilia, they actually increase the surface area of that particular tissue over where they are present. So because of their presence, they increase the surface area, and since the surface area is increased, they are present in windpipe and bronchi, or we can say lungs. Why? Because windpipe is meant for breathing in and out. And for breathing, we need surface area, right? For the oxygen to get in and to throw out, we have to throw out carbon dioxide, we have to get some surface area, right? We cannot breathe from a narrow passage, right? The oxygen has to move in the passage, so it needs some area. So that's why these ciliated epithelium, these cilia helps in the, these increases the surface area of the particular tissue over there present. So the location you can write, underline this much, inner lining of the windpipe and bronchi. That means ciliated epithelium are present in the inner lining of the windpipe and bronchi. The explanation I am giving you is extra just because so that you can refer those explanations for your understanding. Nothing else. You don't have to write these explanations in the exam. Only this given explanation is enough in exam, right? So they are found in inner lining of windpipe and the lungs. What is their function? It causes movement of particles in one direction through the ducts. Underline this. It causes movement of particles in one direction through the ducts. That means our windpipe is obviously a duct. It looks like a passage. So it is known as a duct. So because it is a duct, what it causes, this ciliated epithelium, what it causes? It causes a movement of particles in one direction in the ducts. The ducts which are present in the body, the windpipe, the bronchi, lungs, etc. They have ducts. So these ducts causes movement of particles, right? These epithelium, ciliated epithelium causes the movement of certain particles in those ducts present in our body. Is this much clear to you all?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay. Yes. Okay, let us move to the next topic, which is connective tissue. So all these things, that means the epithelial tissue, the types, you have to remember all the types. Also, in each and every type, what is the location and what is the function. You have to remember this much. You have to write this much in exam. So please try to learn these things 2-3 times, and after that third time you will be very sure about where are they found and what is their main function. So try to go through this. Now let us move towards connective tissue. To the next topic on page number 14, connective tissue. Connective tissue is a connecting and supporting tissue. It connects different tissues and organs. It also gives support to different organs to keep them affixed in their proper position. The cells of connective tissue are living. They have spaces between them. These spaces are filled with a gel-like substance called matrix. Now, connective tissue, from the name itself, you know that they connect something, right? They are connecting or they are binding particles together. That means what they connect, it connects different tissues and organs. Please underline. First, underline. It is a connecting and supporting tissue. Then underline, it connects different tissues and organs and also gives support to different organs to keep them fixed in a position, right? So underline this much. Now, these cells have spaces between them. The connective tissue, they have spaces between them. That means if they have spaces, they have intercellular spaces. That means they will store something, obviously. There are some cells which do not have one space only. Like they do not contain any space between them. They are very closely packed to each other. But in the case of connective tissue, they have some gaps, some space between them. That means intercellular space is present and is stored with something. Now, what is that something? It is a gel-like substance known as matrix. Now, matrix is nothing, but it's a gel-like substance which is basically meant for, you know, providing nourishment, right? It is a watery gel-like substance. It will obviously provide nourishment or flexibility to the tissues to connect with each other or to bind with each other, right? Like we use glue for binding things. For attaching something, we use glue. So here the matrix acts as a glue. It connects the tissues with the organs, right? Is this clear to you all?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes,
Now,
ma'am.
connective tissue is also of 3 types. Now, epithelial tissues were of 4 types. Here, connective tissue, we have 3 types of connective tissue. So, what are those 3 types? Okay. Yes. So connective tissue is of 3 types: fibrous connective tissue, supportive connective tissue, and fluid connective tissue, right? These 3 types are of connective tissues: fibrous, supportive, and fluid. Now we will know what is a fibrous connective tissue. What is meant by a fibrous connective tissue? Now here, fibrous connective tissue is also of 2 types: loose connective and dense connective tissue. That means the fibrous tissue is also divided into 2 forms: the loose connective tissue and the dense connective tissue. Now come to loose connective tissue. The loose connective tissues are found throughout the body. They are of 2 types: areolar and adipose tissue. Now, if we talk about these loose connective tissue, they are found with the whole length of body. That means they are found everywhere in the body. There is no such particular place. Like in epithelial cells, we saw there are some particular space, location is there. But these loose connective tissue, they are found along the length of body. That means throughout the body they are present. Now they are again divided into 2 types: areolar tissue and adipose tissue. You have to remember this: fibrous connective tissue divided into 2, loose connective tissue and dense connective tissue. Then loose connective tissue also divided into two, areolar and adipose. So first we will discuss areolar tissue. Come to the location. It is present between the skin and muscles and around blood vessels and nerves. Underline this. Present between the skin and muscles and around blood vessels and nerves. Now, what is their function? It binds the skin to the underlying organs. Where it is present? In the skin, between the skin and the muscles. So what are they doing? Obviously, they are connecting the skin to the muscles. That means their function is it binds the skin to the underlying organs. Underline that function. It binds the skin to the underlying organs. Also, they are present around blood vessels and nerves. But first, we talk about the skin and muscles where the binding is necessary. Now the box, we will read that the two types of fibers are present in areolar tissue. Now we know it is a fibrous connective tissue. So obviously fibers will be present in this tissue. So there are two types of fibers which are present in this tissue. They are known as collagen fiber and elastic fiber. They give strength and elasticity to the tissue. Now you all know tissue, it helps in connecting, movement, and there are many types of tissue which helps in protection, connection, movement, and everything. So obviously these tissues want strength to do all these things. Strength and elasticity is necessary. So these two fibers, the collagen fiber and the elastic fiber, what they do, they give strength and elasticity to these tissues. Which tissues? The areolar tissues, right? The second one, have you all underlined this much? The location of areolar tissue, that is between the skin and muscle, also around the blood vessels and nerves. Their function is to bind the skin to underlying organs. This is about areolar tissue. Now the second one is adipose tissue. It is made up of fat cells or adipocytes. That means adipose tissue, from the name, you have to make out that it is related to fat. Our body has fat in it, right? We all contain our body, every body contains fat in it. We eat things which contains carbs, carbohydrates, fats, minerals, vitamins, etc. Right? So obviously our body will have some amount of fat. Now you can see our fat is stored where? You can see when we observe our body, our thighs and our hands, some area are swollen. They look like swollen things. They are very fatty, right? So in these places and inside some glands, these fats are stored. So adipose means related to fat. Also, they are known as adipocytes. Where is their location? Present below the skin and between the internal organs. I told you where it is present. Below the skin. That means if we observe our thighs, our hands, below the skin, you can see fat, right? You can see an emulged, enlarged out portion or a bulged out portion you can see. That is the fat inside our body. So we can see, or the fat, this adipose tissue is found below the skin and between the internal organs. That means in the inside of the body, there are some organs present. So in between those organs also, these adipose tissues are found. That means fat is found. Now, what is the function? It stores energy in the form of fat. It acts like a cushion and protects the internal organ. So what is the main function? It stores energy in the form of fat, right? These fat molecules which is present in our body, they basically stores the energy. They are in the form of energy. Like if we are fat, you must have seen, if we are fatty or if we are very healthy, we have more energy. We can do more things very quickly and very powerfully, right? So basically it stores energy in the form of fat. Fat is in the form of energy itself. Also, it acts like a cushion and protects the internal organ. Right, like, yes, who is talking in between? Can you mute your mic, Rhythm? Yes.
Yes.
Yes, fine. So where are they found? In the below the skin and between some internal organs. Their function is they store energy in form of fat. Also, they act like cushion and protects the internal organs. Like if you see a cushion, you have cushion at your home site. A cushion is there. You see cushion, if we see they are very soft, they are very fatty, spongy in nature, right? So if we place a cushion in our hand and if someone is hitting us in our hand and the cushion is there, so that person, that someone, if they hit the cushion, what will happen? The cushion will protect our hand. Our hand will not feel any pain if the cushion is there, right? Because it's fatty, it looks like a big thing. It's fat in nature. It is spongy, soft. So because of that sponginess, because of that fatness in the cushion, it will protect our hand. If we place that cushion in our hand, if someone hit us, it will obviously protect our hand. Similarly, here also, these adipose tissue, they act like a cushion. They act like a cushion. That means they surround these internal organs with these the fat. The fat is surrounded, and then they protect the internal organs from external damages, right? They form a layer, the fat, it forms a layer over these organs and it protects the organs from damage. Is that clear to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So what
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
fine. It acts like a cushion and protects the internal organs. Please underline that. Underline this line. It acts as a cushion and protects the internal organs. Now B. We have discussed A, the loose connective tissue. That means fibrous connective tissue was, it was divided into two portions, loose connective tissue and the dense connective tissue. Loose, we had two more, like loose were divided into two, areolar and adipose tissue. It is not areolar. Like in your book, the spelling is wrong. Areolar. It is wrong spelling. It's areolar. Aero. So just interchange both of them. Aero. It's areolar tissue, not areolar. Right? It is areolar tissue. Yes. So now come to the next topic, dense connective tissue. It also comes under fibrous connective tissue. Now what is dense connective tissue? It has more fibers than the loose connective tissue. It is of two types. Now again, the dense connective tissue. Dense means obviously it is denser than the loose one. Loose one has only some fibers, but the dense one means it has dense fibers. More fibers are present. Like you must have heard dense forest. That means dense means more trees are present in the particular forest. So similarly, here also dense connective tissue has more fibers in them. That's why they are known as dense connective tissue. And now they are further divided into two types, tendons and ligaments. So we will discuss this in the next, in the next lecture, in the next class we will discuss. For today, we will stop here. Time is over. Okay, any doubts?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
No, ma'am.
Okay, fine. You may,
Okay.
yeah.